Everybody's talking about sleep nowadays, and for good reason. Let me share you my best sleep hacks. Hi, I'm Mike. On this channel, I'm going to share with you my best tips and tricks on how to improve your health. Today, we're talking about sleep. Let's start with the first thing. How much should you sleep? So if you just look at it completely theoretically, if you take a human being and put it in the list of animals, with our size, our level of activity and so on, we should actually be sleeping 9.5 hours. And on an average, we sleep about 7 hours. I have to go with the rest and say at least 8 hours. Some people need more. It depends on you individually and it depends on your age. But I'd say try 8 if you don't know. Try to listen to your body. If you wake up and you're dead tired, try to sleep a little bit more and see how that feels. Let's talk about your circadian rhythm. So when you wake up, your cortisol goes up and that makes you feel awake. As day goes on, cortisol goes down, and after sunset, melatonin goes up. And these have an inverse relation. So when melatonin goes up, cortisol goes down. And melatonin is what's making you feel sleepy. So there are a lot of factors in today's society which can mess this up. For example, we stay indoors a lot. We don't get a lot of light. So cortisol doesn't really go up because there is no signal that the day has begun. And at the same time, when we go to bed, we're using all these screens looking at this blue artificial light, which signals us that the sun hasn't really set and the melatonin doesn't go up. Also, if you have adrenal fatigue, your cortisol curve could look really messed up. So if you feel really awake when you go to bed, or if you feel really tired or sleepy when you go up, that's a sign that your circadian rhythm might be a little bit off. So what you can do about that is, as soon as you wake up, try to go out and get some sunlight in your eyes, on your skin. It doesn't have to be, it's okay if it's cloudy. Try to get some light as soon as possible. That kind of sets the start of the day and syncs your circadian rhythm, and try to avoid blue screens. To be honest, I think that wearing these glasses and looking at red screens isn't that simple. I think it is more of a commercial thing. I try to avoid most screens at least 2 hours before going to bed. It's really hard, I know myself. Try to limit it as much as possible to sync with your clock. It's really important to have a really dark room when you sleep because it will quiet down your sense. So most of these things that I will recommend is dampening down all your senses, because all your senses will keep you awake. Imagine that you're a caveman. Your eyes will always seek light. Your ears will always try to find noises to wake you up if something would happen. So you need to dampen them as much as you possibly can. So take away all the light that you can. It might take some time for you to get used to it. Try to get some good window blinds, use curtains that takes out all the light. Try to make it dark. In the same line of thinking, try to have it as quiet as possible. If you need to, close the door. Use earplugs if that's your last resort. You really want to dampen the hearing. You can learn, you can get used to sleeping in noisy environments, you can get used to sleeping in bright environments, but I guarantee you that your sleep will be better if it is quiet. And then, breathing. It's really important that you breathe through your nose. It has been shown time and time again that your nose is what gives you the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to breathing. So it has a lot of functions. It has a filter. It filters out a lot of dangerous particles. It moistens the air. So if you ever wake up after a long night and you feel that you're really dry in your throat, that won't happen if you breathe through your nose. And also you actually get more oxygen when you use your nose. So I myself have really tight nostrils, but there are a few things that you can do. They're are these strips that you put up here that will expand. Really nice. I think they're used for snorers, but they're really good when it comes to breathing. And there's also this plastic thing that will just expand from here. It will make you look like a rhino, but it works. Also, I really recommend, this is crazy because I didn't believe in it myself, taping your mouth. So get a silicone-based tape, you put it over like this, or if that's scary, you can even put it like this. Works too. And then make sure that your nose is unplugged and you're using these strips. My God, this really affects your sleeping so much. So the first time I tried, I couldn't believe how much better I slept when I taped my mouth and used only my nose. Highly recommend to try it. Another thing you can use if you don't really feel any comfort, you feel uneasy when you sleep, is a weight blanket. So I have a 11 kilo weight blanket at home. I use it when I want to feel comforted or I want to feel more rested. For me, sometimes it's a little bit too hot, to be honest, and I have the coolest one. So it might not work for everybody, it might not work during the summer, but I have friends who have had adrenal fatigue, gone into the wall, so to speak, and they swear by the weight blanket. It saved their sleep. And you gotta get your sleep back because that's where all the recovery happens. Really important. Another thing to really think about is alcohol and coffee. You've heard it, and a lot of people, they swear, I can drink coffee just before going to bed and I sleep no problem. The same with alcohol. I can have a glass of wine, it just makes me sleep even better. I fall asleep like a baby. Might be true, but that's kind of just the same as saying, I could drink until I pass out, just on a different scale, right? So what happens when you sleep is that your mind or your brain is clearing out stuff. You can see physically that the space between cells is increasing during sleep. So it's cleaning up some stuff. We don't know exactly what. And all your muscles are repairing, your whole body is repairing. So it's like a restorative process. It's really important. And if you have caffeine or alcohol, those are toxins for the body, and the body has to rid them first. So it might feel like you're going asleep and you fall asleep easily, but then while you sleep, instead of putting all that energy into restoring your body, it has to work breaking down these toxins first. And you're losing a lot of that great restorative sleep. And then I'd also suggest track your sleep. There are a lot of sleep trackers on the market, and I gotta be honest, they are not super accurate. But there are some things that they are good at. For example, pulse. A really good thing is to look at what is your pulse when you wake up. If it is really low, that's a good sign. If it's racing during your night, either you're having bad dreams or something might be off. Also, it's good to see when you fell asleep, when you go up, to track on, because I felt like I'm sleeping 9 hours every day, but I was only sleeping 7. So you might feel like you're sleeping, but you're just lying down. So they're kind of accurate in telling when you're sleeping. They're looking at your movements and your pulse and so on. So I highly recommend checking out a sleep tracker. If you don't want to put all the money on that, you can even put your phone in the bed. Just make sure you put it on flight mode because you don't want to have all that radiation close to your head. And there are apps like Sleep Cycle and so on. I've used them myself. They detect when the actual bed is moving. And for simple tracking, it could be used. You could see your trend. You won't be able to see your pulse and stuff, but it's fairly good at seeing when you slow down and when you wake up and so on. All right, that's all for today. That's all about sleep. If you enjoyed this, please give me a like, consider subscribing, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Ciao.